everybody, I'm Rosemary and I'm back with another audio assist video. Today I'm going to be talking about how to mix an acoustic track with vocals in Ableton Live. My musical example is a song that I wrote called Wild Things. I posted it a few months back, and it's a song that I wrote to a poem by Wendell Berry.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be.
As you can see, the song features just vocals and piano, so for this mix we're really going to mix around the vocals and create a sonic space for our vocals and piano to live together. So let's get started. We have two tracks here, my piano track, which unfortunately I didn't record in stereo, and the vocal track. Since we're mixing around our vocal track, we're not going to adjust the volume of our vocal track. We're going to leave it at 0 decibels. We don't want to bring it above 0 decibels. Instead, we're going to use compression to boost the volume of our vocals if needed. We're going to turn the volume of our piano track down instead. So I'm just going to take a quick listen to the first verse or so and see if I need to adjust the piano track volume.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound.
Alright, so as you can see, I turned the piano track down just a little bit, and we're still going to need some compression on the vocals, so we'll get into that later. The first thing I'm going to do is add some EQ to both instruments. So first I'm going to do the vocals. I mentioned this in my previous mixing video, but when we're EQing, we're cutting before we're boosting. So the first thing I'm going to do with this EQ is I'm going to add a high pass filter. And I'm going to move this up to maybe about, 300 hertz. And the reason why we add this high pass filter is so that we can get rid of any extraneous noise or hums in the low frequency range. These kind of extraneous noises might add some interference to our vocals, so we'd want to make sure that we get rid of them. We're going to keep cutting by listening to our vocals and seeing if there's any weird resonant frequencies that we can get rid of. Let's take a listen.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be.
Alright, so as you can see, I cut a little bit around 1K here. This frequency, or this range of frequencies, was kind of interfering with the clarity of my voice, so I decided to cut it a little bit. And I also boosted around 519 hertz. This was kind of the meatier part of my voice. And then finally, I boosted up our higher frequencies, just a general boost for the higher frequencies since I want my voice to remain bright. So now that we have the vocals EQ'd, let's add some EQ to our piano. And again, since we are mixing according to our vocals, we're mixing around the vocal track, we're going to carve out a little space frequency-wise for our vocals. So I might start by cutting right around where we boosted the vocals. So I think that was around 519. And let's see what else we can do.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be. I go and lie down.
Alright, so again, I cut around this 500 hertz area to carve out a little bit of space for the vocals, and I boosted around 88 hertz to kind of bring up the low end of the piano, and I cut a little bit around this 190 area. There was a little bit of a weird resonance going on there. And then again, I boosted the high frequencies just a little bit. It's a really mellow piano sound, so I just wanted to brighten it up a little bit. Now that we have our instruments EQ'd, we're going to add some compression. I usually like to use Ableton's generic compressor when I'm putting compression on instruments. So let's see how this sounds on the vocals.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be.
I'm basically just using the compressor to allow for the vocals to cut through the mix a little bit more. Now I'm going to add some compression to the piano as well.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in.
So with both of these tracks, I've just been adjusting the output gain to really boost the volume a little bit. Another compressor or vocal effect that I would definitely recommend to you is actually a plugin from Antares, which makes autotune. They have a whole bundle of vocal effects plugins called Avox, and one of them that I really like to use on vocals is called Avox Warm, which is kind of a tube simulator compressor. So let's check it out. So this is what it looks like. This is our Avox Warm plugin. We have our input, output, and then this drive knob with two different sounds that we can use, Velvet and Crunch. So as you can see, it's a really easy user interface, and I'm just going to use this drive to kind of give the vocals some different warmth.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be.
Awesome. So I think this Velvet sound is a little bit better for this situation than the Crunch, but the Crunch could be useful in other musical situations. So this is the Avox Warm, which I would definitely recommend you guys checking out. So now we have our vocals and piano EQ'd and added a little bit of compression. The last thing that I'm going to do is use some reverb to put these two instruments in the same sonic space. I love using Soundtoys Little Plate. This reverb is really beautiful. I have it on one of my sends channels, and I'm going to now send my vocals and piano to this reverb so we can have it sound like they're in the same sonic space.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be.
So I sent both of the instruments to the Little Plate reverb, and I actually turned up the decay time because I feel like this song needs some really dramatic reverb. It's a really emotional song, so I decided to turn the decay up, which means that the time of the reverb is longer, so it sounds like they're in a larger environment, a larger space. And I sent quite a lot of both of the instruments to the reverb. So again, I felt like this song needed some really dramatic reverb. So let's take a listen and see what it sounds like now.
When despair for the world grows in me, and I wake in the night at the least sound, in fear of what my life and my children's lives may be. I go and lie down where the wood drake rests in his beauty on the water, and the great heron feeds.
As you can see, we can use EQ, compression, and reverb to create a really solid mix, especially when we're mixing with vocals where we want to mix around the vocals and make sure that our instruments are in the same sonic space together. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to go watch my other mixing video where I talk about mixing an instrumental track in Ableton Live, and check out my other videos from my Audio Assist series. I'll be back soon with another video. See you then.